Hey y'all, this is Teresa Goodwin, president of the Bell County, Texas Democratic Women, and you're about to watch BCTDW presents the 2026 Democratic Primary Candidate Forum. This forum is the first of its kind for our organization, and we really wanted to give you, the voter, the opportunity to learn more about the people or the candidates who are asking for your vote and asking for your confidence in representing them at various levels. In this forum, we're bringing you candidates from races that span across Bell County to include the following: U.S. House of Representatives, Congressional District 31, Bell County Democratic Party Chair, Bell County Commissioner, Precinct 4, and Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Place 2. We did not have candidates from the Congressional District 17 race, as our friends over in McLennan County Democratic Party recently held a forum that is available online. So we encourage you to check that forum out if you live in that district. Now, before you get started, we encourage you to check out the BCTDW voter guide and make sure you know who's going to be on your ballot. Click on the sample ballot link and you can find out exactly who that is. Also, if you don't know what precinct or district you're in, there's a tool and a link there you can click to determine that as well. You can also learn on that guide when, where, and how to vote, as well as have access to the links of the candidates who are on your ballot, whether they were in this forum today and you have more questions, or if the race wasn't on there but you wanted to learn more about those candidates. All that information is included on your voter guide. Now, before we get started, I wanted to let you know the format of the forum that you're about to watch. We open up each race, providing the candidates with 2 minutes to give an introduction to themselves. Then we follow that by 2 to 3 questions that were submitted by community members like yourselves. Then each race segment ends with a 1-minute closing statement from each candidate. Now, I did mention this is the first time that we've done something like this, so we did have a bit of growing pains and technical difficulties. As such, on our recording, the introductions from both of the congressional district candidates for 31 are missing from the recording. So we encourage you to click those links, follow those individuals, and learn more about them. Thank you for joining us to watch this. Thank you for being an engaged and informed voter. Get out and vote. Take your friends and family to vote, and ever forward. Segment for the Congressional District 31 race. And we are going to start this question with Justin, and you can remain unmuted. So what would be your number one priority if elected, and how would you achieve it? And I'll start your timer now.
Okay, so as I stated in my opening, that I have my 3 policy pillars, which are affordability, responsible technology, and defending our democracy. And while I love talking about affordability because I understand how that is, I've been one paycheck away from not being able to make rent or not being able to make my mortgage and have kids to feed. The kitchen table issues and making sure that technology works for people are very paramount, but defending our democracy is the number one thing we need to work on today. We see where authoritarianism is bringing our country today, and so we need Congress to fight back for the power of that Congress has and not yield that to the executives. There have been 4 House resolutions to impeach Donald Trump. I'm absolutely in support of that. 3 of them being from Al Green right here in Texas with us. And so I want to make sure that he has the support that he needs. At the same time, we want to make sure that we have new progressive leaders in Congress in order to bring the country forward, because the average age of people in the district is 39 and a half, and the average age of a congressperson, or the median age of a congressperson, is about 57. So I really think we need to bring that age down and actually have people who support us and work with us. So while I want to do all these things, defending our democracy is number one on my priority list.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So gonna ask the same question to Stuart. If you can go ahead and mute yourself, Justin, and you already did. Thank you. So Stuart, what would be your number one priority if elected, and how would you achieve it? And you got 2 minutes.
Thank you for that question. My number one priority is restoring the democracy to our government. One of the first things we need to do, of course, is get elected, and other Democrats need to get elected so that we take back the House of Representatives and can have oversight hearings and properly perform the functions of the Congress, which has not been taking place under the current regime. So I'm also the effort will have to be made to make sure we get seated in Congress. I think that there's ample evidence that President Trump plans to make it very difficult for the elections to take place and for the people that win to actually be seated. And there, we're going to have to call upon the many people across this country to continue to protest and hit the streets in whatever numbers they can in order to make sure that we get all the people that are duly elected to actually become members of Congress. So that really has to take place. Assuming that takes place, and I believe it will, I hope it will, we need to set up the oversight committee and look into all the things that Trump has been doing to destroy our democracy and all the corruption that has been involved with the pardons. It seems to me that Trump takes in millions of dollars with most of the pardons that he grants, and that's how he bases his pardons on. There's all kind of other issues in which we must get involved. One of those is even the Supreme Court of the United States. We have a situation where the Supreme Court has not been acting to preserve democracy, but seems to be favoring Donald Trump. And I'm all for supporting legislation or filing legislation that would expand the Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court could actually be focused on fairness, justice, and doing the job that they are supposed to be doing. And they are not doing it at the current time. We need to look at all the ways that Donald Trump has found to destroy our democracy and make sure that we shore up that and make the democracy better than it's ever been before. I'm not talking about making the democracy the same as it was before Donald Trump came to office. We're looking at improving it.
All righty, Stuart. Thank you. All righty. And so we will move on to our next question. I'm going to mute you, Stuart, and go back to Justin for this one. How would you support legislation to disband ICE? What about the Department of Homeland Security in its entirety? And this is a community question, Justin. And there we go.
Yeah, this is a very important question. So number one, we know how corrupt ICE is, and I really like that we're moving forward with holding the leaders of ICE accountable. But the number one thing we need to do as Congress is utilize the power of the purse to bring the levels of the funding of ICE right back down to 2023, 2024 levels. That's the number one thing we need to do. After that, we need to go through and wholesale. I'm all for abolishing ICE. However, the functions of customs enforcement and immigration enforcement need to be done. But the current way it's being done with the 47 days of training, all those things, this need to be completely gone and done away with. So first and foremost is, restructure the funding to go back to 2024 levels. Secondly, we need to make sure the leadership is changed out of there, because I believe everybody who is actually in there today is making it worse, as what they're doing. And then after that, we need to make sure that we can ensure accountability for the things that they have or that they do. I believe that ICE should not be carrying weapons, because if they need weapons with them, they should call local police on, with them to be accountable with them. They should have badges. They should do, legal Fourth Amendment or legal searches and seizures without having, these ICE memos that they have. Those are things I think are subject to the organization itself. But number one is change that funding model, because right now the amount of funding they have would make them the 18th largest military in the world. And I don't believe that's where a domestic agency should be working.
Okay, thank you for that, Justin. So moving on to Stuart, same question. Would you support legislation to disband ICE? And what about the Department of Homeland Security in its entirety? And this was a community question. I'll go ahead and get you to unmute yourself, Stuart. Sorry, I should have had that ready.
Sorry about that. Thank you. I believe that the Department of Homeland Security and ICE is corrupt. They're corrupt from top to bottom, and they need to be totally reformed. We need to start by removing Kristi Noem as the head of the Department of Homeland Security. She's obviously completely unable to handle that job, and she does not have her heart in the right place. So it's a terrible situation that she has been involved in. I want to praise the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis for all their protests, and the kind of protests I'm talking about we may have to do to make sure our democracy is continued with the elections coming up in November. But because they have apparently driven the ICE agents out of Minnesota. That is what the governor of Minnesota said today, that is starting today and the people are leaving. And that is the kind of protest we need in all the cities in which they try to send the ICE agents and destroy the peace and prosperity of those communities. We need to change they have lowered the level of requirements for the ICE agents. They didn't have enough of them, so they decided, well, we can't use high standards. We have to go down to low standards and take people that really don't belong in ICE. And many of them, some of them who were convicted on January 6th, working as ICE agents. And so that has to stop. We need to return to the higher standards that we had. We need to make sure that they have judicial warrants before they can go banging on someone's door and knocking it down and entering someone's house or home. And this sort of situation has to be resolved. We cannot have people going in without having a judicial warrant authorizing them to do so. They have to take care of the mask, remove the mask, wear badges, wear body cameras. All these things have to be improved. I fully agree with the current congressional Democrats in Congress saying we're not going to fund any more money for ICE until we get these reforms made. And I fully respect and go along with that approach.
Alrighty, thank you, Stuart. And it looks like we are going to have time to do that third question that was sent to you all. We'll do a minute for that. And we will start with you, Stuart. And this question comes from a BCTDW member out of Temple who asks, despite its documented medical use, cannabis is currently scheduled as a Class 1 drug, along with heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. Where do you stand on allowing recreational cannabis to be regulated in a similar fashion to alcohol? And starting with you, Stuart, we'll do that in a minute. Go ahead.
Do I need to
You're
unmute?
good. No,
Okay,
you're good.
thank you. I do support that. I think that we should regulate cannabis in the same manner that we regulate alcohol. I think we have ample evidence that cannabis is far less harmful than smoking cigarettes and things of that nature. So, and it is also shown to be very helpful to people for medical needs as well as other needs. We've had way too many people sitting in prisons because they were simply possessing marijuana or smoking marijuana. And this is just a great loss of human potential that has to end. So I'm fully thinking that we could also use the money that we should tax the use of cannabis. I do believe, and we can use that money in very productive ways to help the communities and the people that have been harmed by the previous approach to this situation. And so, yes, the answer to the question, I do approve of and will support using cannabis in a way, or regulating cannabis in the way that we regulate alcohol.
Perfect. Thank you. Moving on to Justin, 1 minute for this question before we move into our closing statements. Go ahead.
Yes, I mean the short answer is yes. We've grown up in a society that we've had, states have legalized and recreational marijuana for, decades now, and so there is no evidence of leaving it on Schedule 1 as with heroin and cocaine and that nature. But second to that, there's been a lot of black and brown communities targeted simply for having marijuana and possessing it, and I think if we are going to have a federal, recreational laws, we absolutely need to make sure we release people who are in prison and expunge records from those same things. It does, it makes me feel hopeful that states are doing those things and they're moving that direction, but I'm also a little frustrated about it because they have targeted black and brown communities, and some of these southern states are still doing that today. Once in Congress, absolutely, I would support doing that because I believe it would actually allow people to actually create businesses, create jobs, but then, like Stuart said, we can tax those dollars and actually put funding back into the government where we lost it before.
Perfect. Thank you both for answering that question. And then now we will end with our 1 minute closing statement. And since we started with Stuart opening, we will begin with Justin to close. Alrighty. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much for tonight and allowing us to be here to speak. This race is very important. We know where democracy is at today, and we know where it could be potentially. But in order to win this seat and to win 31, we actually have to get a coalition of people together. That's getting people out block walking. We have to get volunteers. We have to inspire young people to vote. And we have to be in the cities where we are in Killeen and Georgetown and Round Rock here in 31 to inspire people to go out and vote. I'm running a very people-powered campaign, which is doing just that. So I'm proud and to say that we've got a lot of people on our team and our staff who have been all volunteers because we want to make sure that this is going through. The final part of this is that I believe 31 will be the great blue jewel in the middle of Texas, and I want to be here to flip it with you. I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. Again, my name is Justin Early, and you can see my website at votejustinearly.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. And then Stuart closing us out with 1 minute. And I did ask you to unmute.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I appreciate all the people who are here and listening and all the candidates who have come. Uh, I think this is a golden moment for us right now. We see all across the nation that people are supporting Democratic candidates, including the most recent example up in Tarrant County, where we had a 31-point swing toward the Democrat. And so I see this as a great time. I think our campaign has been very robust that we're running. I think that we have that was recognized recently in the last 24 hours by the fact that both the Austin American Statesman and the Austin Chronicle endorsed me in this race, and I want to live up to the faith that they put in me by doing so. Thank you all for being here. I ask for your support. I need everybody's support in this race that feels like they can do that, and hopefully we can get to the general election. We plan to do that and take on whoever the candidate is and take them on with everything we've got, and I believe that we will come out on top. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for joining us today. It means a lot. And those of you in the chat and present watching this, I would encourage you to look at your voter information, your precinct, your area, and figure out what congressional district you currently live in. That is extremely important. The redistricting did take effect. In fact, I've been Congressional District 31 for the most of my voting life, and now I am no longer in Congressional District 31. I'm in 17. And so, again, please check out the documents that are being shared in the chat. Make sure you are aware of who's on your ballot. And so if you have not heard from Congressional District 17 candidates, the McLennan County Democratic Party did host a candidate forum yesterday. So that is why we did not bring CD 17 candidates here. So I would encourage you, if you're in CD 17, to go find that information and research your candidates. So at this point in time, we are going to move on to the Bell County Democratic Party chair race. This race has 3 individuals running in the Democratic primary. And well, before I get too deep into that, reminder, please go check your voter registration, click that document, read our voter guide. The position of the Bell County Democratic Party chair serves a 2-year term and is responsible for leading our local Democratic Party organization. The chair oversees party operations, supports candidate recruitment, development, coordinates voter outreach efforts, manages the precinct chairs who are also elected positions, and works to strengthen our party's presence and infrastructure within the community. As I mentioned, there are 3 individuals running in this race, and we will follow the same format. So those individuals are Tess Griffin, or Teresa Griffin, also known as Tess, Brandy Byrd, and Terry Mustapher. So each of the candidates will give a 2-minute introduction, followed by 2 to 3 questions, depending on time. And then we will have 1-minute closing statements. Again, I've randomized the order of these, and orders will kind of be back and forth. But we will start with the 2-minute introduction from Tess, followed by Brandy. Tess, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and we will start for your 2-minute introduction.
Hello, I am Tess Griffin. I'm the current Bell County Democratic Party chair. I'm an Air Force veteran and an Army wife. My husband and I made Bell County our home 20 years ago, and over these past 2 decades, we have built lasting friendships and found countless ways to serve the community because we love this county and we want it to reach its full potential. I currently serve as the board chair of a local nonprofit focusing on gardening and combating food security, and it's called Clean Creators. When I'm also the Bell County chair, but for the past 12 years, I've worked for Texas Democrats in many roles: block walking, phone banking, registering voters as a volunteer deputy registrar, trying to educate voters at the same time, serving as an election worker, a precinct captain, a precinct chair, and helping to organize and lead local rallies. When there was a sudden vacancy in November, I stepped up to serve as county chair at one of the most challenging points in the election cycle, when we were already behind, because I'm not afraid of the hard work. And I was voted in by the people who know the most about the party and what it needs, the precinct chairs. I immediately got to work, and I know that our county has had real challenges. Rebuilding is a little bit what we're working on now, but I'm prepared for that challenge. We're a growing and diverse community. We come from many different parts of the country and different parts of the county. but when we're organized, when we work together. So I'm running for re-election because I stepped into the role fairly recently. The work is not finished. And what we need right now is stability, focus, and follow through. I'm asking for time to continue rebuilding our party and strengthening our foundation to win.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Tess. So moving on to Brandy Byrd, and 2 minutes for her introduction. And I did ask you to unmute, Brandy. It should have come through.
Thank you.
Here we go.
My name is Brandy L.L. Byrd, and I'm running for Bell County Democratic Chair. I'm 33 years finance and accounting, and I have kids. But not only that, I am a veteran of 14 years, and I was able to retire. And I want to talk about how I got into politics, which is I wanted to help a then friend, and it started by poll greeting. And as being a poll greeter, I saw the need for help in the party. So with that, I want to talk about some of the positions that I held in the county, and I don't take running for county chair lightly. So much so that I sat back and I analyzed how can I help the party move further along. So with that, I've been a poll greeter, I've been a county secretary, I've been an auditor for the county party, I've been a precinct chair, I've been a treasurer in the women's group, I've been a block walker. I have to build up the women's group starting from 25 to 135 people. I've been responsible for getting a candidate, or actually two candidates, elected. Linda Dash then, and then Ashley Smith being the first Democrat there on the tax county district. I've held the first Democratic Summit in Killeen. I've held the first bipartisan candidate forum in Killeen for the municipalities. I've held candidate forums in the park. It was called Picnic in the Park with a side of politics. And I've been a candidate twice over. And with that, I want our party to move forward. I don't take lightly. I'm not somebody that just came along and said, hey, I want to be chair. I'm going to unify this party. I'm going to move us along positively in a forward direction, and I'm going to get us some money. And with that, I conclude my introduction.
Thank you, Brandy. And moving on to our third candidate for Bell County Democratic Party Chair, Terry Mustapher. I'm going to ask you to unmute and start your 2 minutes timer.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tess. Thank Bell County Democratic Women for having this event under your leadership. Appreciate it. I am Terry Mustapher, 21-year Army retiree. I am currently president for Bring Everyone in the Zone Incorporated, past chair for the COG, Central Texas Council of Governments, Central Texas Regional Transportation Advisory Committee. I sit on that as well. And currently, I'm the Bell County Democratic Party treasurer. I have experience with contracts and finance. I have logistics and administration, known as a quartermaster for VFW, Post 3892 in Harker Heights. I have served on the NAACP Killeen branch, first, second vice, and veteran affairs chair, as well as state level armed service and veteran affairs chair and assistant treasurer. We need to unite, come together, turn Bell County blue. I believe that it can happen with my leadership, with my experience and background. We can do this together, increase the party, empower people to get out to vote. Vote for Terry Mustapher. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I'm going to go ahead and mute you, and we will start on our questions. So starting with the first one, what do you view as the main role of the county party, and how will the party achieve that under your leadership? Starting with Brandy, and there will be 2 minutes to answer this question.
Okay, the main role of the party is to have a strong Democratic base. And what that means exactly is having Democrats organized on every street of Bell County, but not only every street, every corner. And how I plan to do that is by first stabilizing us and then unifying us across board, getting the precinct chairs filled. But not only that, with the precinct chairs, not only having it filled, but actually going with the precinct chairs and actually showing them how to be one hands on. And so that's how that will work.
Great, thank you. And then moving on to Tess, what do you view as the main role of the county party, and how will the party achieve that under your leadership specifically?
Well, we need to recruit and support strong candidates. And I think we can do that under my leadership if we had a stable party and people would identify, if we had a more stable party, right? Because right now we're really rebuilding. If we had more of that, we would bring more volunteers in, and that would help us to identify potential candidates that we could help build up and give them the support with training and for them and campaign workers, so that running for office would feel more achievable to the average person. Some of these smaller offices first and see how they take to it. I think we need to build and maintain the precinct level infrastructure, because the precinct chair turnover has been kind of high the last couple of years. What they need is support, and especially when they're newer, maybe mentorship program with the precinct chairs. And then when we had precinct level data-driven voter contact information plans to give to them and get them to work together, I think that would help a lot there. And then we just got to get out the vote. I would like a caucuses and club summit so we could coordinate as one big team, like an interlocking puzzle, so that we're not reinventing the wheel, we're not duplicating work, and we would all know what our responsibilities are. So we're working together, not just the Bell Party, but the Democratic Women and other groups in the area, Indivisible. We got the Bell County Coalition of Black Democrats. If we all work together, we could be a team. Winning requires organization, something we just haven't had in a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Tess. Moving on to Terry, the same question. What do you view as the main role of the county party, and how will the party achieve that under your leadership?
Thank you, Tess. Some of the main things we have to do as a party is election administration, working with the county election administrator office, party leadership and operations, training, recruitment, volunteerism, that goes into candidates and recruitment. Not only recruit them, train them, and stay by their side through their candidacy and when they're even in the seat. Fundraising and campaigning, grassroots, get folks to donate, becoming subscribing members to the party, and strategic organization, administratively, logistically, operational. We can't all do it by ourselves, but I can be at the helm, guiding and directing and seeking out folks to do the work of the Bell County Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. We're going to stick with you on this next question as the first candidate to speak. Can you list the 3 most important goals you would personally accomplish or oversee as county chair in the next year?
Work and recruit candidates, team building, cohesiveness, and increase our Democratic membership. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Moving on to Brandy. Can you list the 3 most important goals you would personally accomplish or oversee as county chair in the next year?
The 3 most important goals that I see is stabilizing and unifying the county party, getting those precinct chairs filled, and fundraising. We need money here in Bell County, and it's so important.
Perfect. Thank you, Brandy. I'm going to ask the same question to you, Tess. Can you list the 3 most important goals you would personally accomplish or oversee as county chair in the next year?
I like the idea of strengthening our infrastructure because we're still rebuilding, getting financial stability and transparency, which we haven't had for a while, and then a countywide organizing plan. So strengthening the infrastructure is building up those precinct chairs and the way to keep them from turnover by giving them support. We've got some new precinct chairs right now, and I'm trying to keep them in the fold before they get scared off because we haven't had training yet. But we will have regular training for party members at all levels at some point soon when we get that going. And we need to get our standing committees functioning and meeting so that we can get more work done because it can't just be the officers at this point. The financial stability means monthly finance reports and a clear budget for the 2026 cycle and a consistent fundraising strategy with realistic but achievable quarterly goals. And that county organizing plan is having a year-round or voter engagement calendar, not just chasing them at the last minute, because that's hectic for us and it's hectic for them and stressful. The collaboration with the clubs and caucuses, so we're not duplicating our efforts and each group understands each other's missions, and a clear get out the vote strategy before election year, so we'll be ready. Structure first and then build from there. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're doing good on time, so we are able to go ahead and answer that third question. It'll be starting with Tess, and it is, what actions would you take to unite the party and ensure all cities within the county are included?
Yeah, I like that because we need to have the structure to get there and build people's trust first so that they will want to come back to the party by just being functional. We would need to tailor our get out the vote efforts to each community because Killeen is very different from Temple, and the suburban areas are very different from the rural areas. And the caucuses and clubs coming into our conversations early. So not just the clubs, but like maybe a disability caucus and maybe, an Asian American caucus, so that we know what everybody's needs are and they feel heard and then feel appreciated for their points of view and their efforts. And then we just want to ask for feedback from the whole community so that everybody feels that they at least can have their say and tell us where we're missing things. And then rotate events around the county so everybody has a chance to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Tess. It'll be Terry next. And the question is, what actions would you take to unite the party and ensure all cities within the county are included?
Thank you. As my fellow candidate said, recruit precinct chairs, educate them, empower them to go out, seek block captains. Also, everything is training and education. And don't just throw them out there, stay with them the whole time. Implement problem solving and conflict resolution, also team building. We have to have a strong infrastructure as leadership in order to, because everyone sees what goes on. So we have to be tight, like we say in the military, how they see us maneuvering and operating. We want them to say, people in the Bell County to say, what can I do to support the party? More than just donate, give time. That's it.
Thank you, Terry. Moving on to Brandy, the same question. What actions would you take to unite the party and ensure all cities within the county are included?
Thank you for asking that. Far too long, we have been like individuals just doing democratic things. So to unite us, one is, again, having meetings together, and what meetings look like is first with the candidates, with the presidents of the different organizations and the different caucuses, and getting us all online and in doing the same thing. We all have different things that we want, but we all can work together to get those different missions and different things achieved, and still have your set party, because each party is very unique in their own wants, desires, and needs, which is real. That's why I love being democratic, because we are stronger together. And as far as like the other counties, or not counties, but other cities that have been forgotten, the Troy, the Little Rivers, the Rogers, the Highlands, the Morgan's Point, Bartlett, Moody, and with those little towns, going to them, because I don't know when the last time they actually have seen a candidate, met, much less the chair or anything, but actually going out to those places and having town halls and actually listening to the people and seeing what it is that they want from the county party. But not only that, recruiting and getting people out there working and making democracy fun. I think we forgot about that.
Thank you, Brandy. Now we'll go ahead to move on to our 1-minute closing statements. And we will start with Brandy, then move to Terry, and then Tess. So Brandy, 1 minute for your closing statement, and I think you should be unmuted. Yes. For it.
Okay. Okay. With that, vote for Byrd for bail. And the reason you should vote for me, and I'm not just talking, I actually have a plan. I've been with the party 6 years, and I have sat back and I have analyze this on what we should be doing and how we can move forward and being able to execute that. That looks like unification, recruitment, education, fundraising, and of course elections, and getting all those things done, getting people involved, and having goodwill out there in the community. You know, far too long it's been a bad picture painted for Democrats. Hey, we're a viable, great party. Come join us. But not only that, we're going to educate you and we're going to show you why you should be a Democrat and how we can have your voice heard and how your family matters, and get you out there voting and doing all the great things Democratic. So vote Byrd for bail. Go to my website, byrdfor.bail.com, and hit me up, read all the good things, and vote for me.
All right, so then moving on to Terry, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you got 1 minute for your closing
ma'am.
statement.
Thank you. Again, Terry Mustapher, vote for Terry M on Facebook. 21-year Army construction veteran, lead nonprofit, president, and I've served as treasurer and parliamentarian. Been with the party first time 94, came back in 05 and finished my Army Corps and settled here in Bell County. I bring the leadership experience and the know-how, how to strategically and organizationally and seek funds to keep the party going strong, straight, and recruiting folks and empowering them to work. Again, this is Terry Mustapher running for Bell County Democratic Party Chair. Vote for Terry M on March the 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Then going to move on to Tess, 1 minute for your closing statement.
Well, Tess Griffin again. I'm a nuts and bolts organizer. I'm organized and I don't mind the boring administrative work. As I mentioned, I started this job only a couple of months ago, and I would like to be reelected to have a chance to finish the work that I started. I have concerns that if we start over again in June with a new chair, it's going to take a few months for the community to get the trust of the community. They're going to want to see what some results from the new chair. It's going to slow us down going in the midterm election in November. What we need is stability and not a revolving door. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you all for joining us today. Just a reminder for everybody, if you are voting in the Democratic primary, which I believe you all should be if you're in this conversation right now, everybody will be voting for the Bell County Democratic Party chair position. And so I'm glad that you are all here learning about these three candidates. Again, Robin has shared links to our voting guide, as well as the information that has links to all these candidates' information. Thank you, three, for joining us. At this time, we're going to transition to the Bell County Commissioner Precinct 4 race. So I am going to pin these guys up here and remove y'all's pins if I can. Let's see. Nope. There we go. All right. So we have Ernest Wilkerson, running for Bell County Commissioner Precinct 4, as well as Louie Minor, our incumbent Bell County Commissioner Precinct 4, running for re-election. And so just a quick word on what county commissioners do. The county commissioner serves a 4-year term and is a member of the Commissioners Court. This is the governing body of the county. Commissioners are responsible for setting the county tax rate, approving the county budget, overseeing infrastructure such as roads, bridges, managing county services, and they make policy decisions that affect public safety, emergency services, county operations as a whole, and that very overpriced jail, and indigent health care. This is a personal favorite race of mine, given some history. I'm glad that you gentlemen are here to join us today. We are going to have the same format. I'm going to try to unpin Tess again. I thought I did. There we go. So we just have you gentlemen here on the screen. We're going to follow the same format. We will have the 2-minute introductions, starting with Louie, then Ernest. We will have the 2 to 3 questions, depending on how quickly we work through these. And then we will have the closing statement where we will start with Ernest and end with Louie to maintain fairness. So starting with you, Louie, if you could give us a 2-minute introduction.
Hello, and thank you, Teresa. I'm Bell County Commissioner Louie Minor, and I'm running for re-election because Democrats in this county deserve a leader that is a proven fighter, steady, and committed to our democratic values. I'm an Iraq veteran, a lifelong public servant, and someone who believes that our government should work for all people. I show up, I listen, and I do the work. Now, Democrats in this room know what's at stake. We have fought we have fought too hard for voting rights, for equal representation, for public education, for working people. To hand this seat over to someone who has been absent from over a decade from Democratic politics, then ran as an independent in 2018 for county judge, and is now taking thousands of dollars from Republicans in this race. This is the same Ernest Wilkerson who was recalled from Killeen voters in 2011, and just yesterday in an interview with Killeen Daily Herald said he supports our county jail being a for-profit prison jailing more black and brown people. That's not leadership, and that's not certainly the kind of representation Democrats can rely on when the going gets tough. Democrats deserve better than that. Precinct 4 deserves better than that. I'm running because I believe Bell County is where every family has a fair shot, where every voter has a voice, and where your tax dollars are spent responsibly and transparently. I'm asking for your vote because this race is about trust. It's about who has shown up, who has fought for you, and who has stayed true to our democratic values. Not just when it's easy, but when it counts. Thank you, and I look forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Louie. We're going to move on for Ernest Wilkerson. Going to ask you to unmute, and you will have 2 minutes for your opening statement. Did it come through, Ernest?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
Perfect. All righty.
I'm gonna try to stay a little bit more positive than my counterpart. My name is Ernest Wilkerson. I'm retired from the National Guard Army. I also retired as a correctional officer from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, where I served as not only a sergeant lieutenant, but also as a captain, DHO disciplinary hearing officer. I also served, I was a counterintelligence officer with a secret clearance in Afghanistan. This is an important race. This is important. You have a choice. You can either have somebody looking at the negative or the positive. I believe in the positive of Bell County, the growth and future development that is to come in Bell County. I graduated from Tarleton State University. Before that, I attended Sam Houston State University. I worked on my MBA at Central Texas A&M, and I'm continued. I live here. I worked here. I raised my daughters here in the community, and I'm a part of this community. I didn't move here just to run it. I've lived here and served here. Served on the Killeen City Council for 4 terms. I served also, I worked with and went to Washington, D.C., lobbied for the airport that came out there, the new airport. I believe in growth and working and trying to think outside the box to make solutions, not complain about them. I've worked with if you look at the Senior Citizen Center, Lion Club Park, the water park, I believe in quality of life, not just making people suffer through life. I believe in working with the community and working with others to get things done. That's who I am. I've always been that way. we got some important decisions to make. We got important decisions about infrastructure. We got important decisions about actually growing and developing our community. We got things we have to do.
We're good, Ernest.
We could sit there. Okay.
That's your time. Alrighty. Thank you, Ernest. And we are going to keep your mic on for this first question. Which progressive causes or ideologies would you champion and where would you compromise? 2 minutes for this.
Yes, ma'am. I support just practical results-driven reform that strengthen transparency and protects taxpayers and improve public safety. That includes being accountable budget-wise, data-driven policies, workforce development partnerships, which I've done in the past. Also, long-term infrastructure planning, which I've done in the past, to keep up with Bell County's rapid growth. I believe in responsible collaboration with state and federal partners, which I have. I have the support of not just Royce West, not just former Congressman Chet Edwards, but many others. Ron Reynolds. I believe in responsible collaboration with the partners that complies with law. Where I will compromise is on process, but not on outcomes. If bipartisan produces measurable improvements for public safety, infrastructure, and physical responsibility, I will work with anyone to deliver those results. What I will not compromise on is accountability, constitutional protection, and responsible stewardship of taxpayers' dollars.
Thank you, Ernest. So the same question for Louie. Which progressive causes or ideologies would you champion and where would you compromise? 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Teresa. So what I look on focusing and for progressive causes this next 4 years is focusing on human infrastructure, not just roads and bridges, but what do our residents need to succeed? I think we have an issue with indigent health care, with healthcare in general. So I want to propose a county hospital district, and that's something that we'll be voting on later on this year. Child care. There's a lot of things that the county can do to help improve quality of lives, but we're not doing it. Not because I haven't brought it up. It's because the other commissioners have no intention of doing that. For instance, like county parks, creating a county park system. We could do that, but they have no desire to do that. A county library. We could have a county library system. They choose not to do that. What they would rather do is put their money into a expo center, dump it in the expo center, dump hundreds of millions of dollars into a jail expansion, and trying to raise money for a no-profit, prison system, leasing out jail space, a no-kill shelter. All these things are progressive, relative to where we're coming from. As far as compromising, I can't compromise on my values and my ideas and working for the people. They outvote me. They outvote any Democrat on the court. So you got to learn how to organize and work in that area, that space, and push the agenda where you can with one vote.
Thank you. That's going to go off. All right. So then moving on to our next question, and we will start with Louie on this one. On which specific policy issues do you think you differ from your opponent? 2 minutes.
Right. Well, I think I mentioned it just a second ago, a county hospital district. Whether you know it or not, you are paying for indigent health care. 8% of our county general revenue budget goes towards indigent health care by law. It has to do that. So majority of that money is consumed in the jail. And now that they expanded the jail, an unintended consequence that they didn't think about was more inmates equals more indigent health care. So it's consuming even more money now. So what will a county hospital district do once we vote on it and it gets approved? What that's going to allow us to do, first of all, is to go after what's called LPPF money, local provider participation fund money that the local hospitals get right now. It's a tax on healthcare, 6% tax, and they're able to draw federal money down and get a 1.5 times return. Right now, Bell County cannot do that because we're not a hospital. So creating a hospital district will be able to pull that money down from the federal government at 1.5 times. And I think it's a win-win for the voters. It's a win for healthcare in Bell County.
Perfect. Thank you. Then the same question for you, Ernest, is on which specific policy issues do you think you differ from your opponent? And you got 2 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. I think there's 2 issues that were totally different. He talks to you about the hospital district, but he doesn't tell you what it costs to set it up. It costs money. It's going to end up increasing everyone's taxes by at least 17 cents. The research is there. I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong, but there's other ways to do it. Like I said, I've worked in the prison system. I've graded and went through and did assessments of prison systems. Working with UTMB, University of Texas Medical, is another way to do it. Actually partnering with them to come in and run the jail's medical is probably the best way, most cost effective. You don't have to set up another taxing entity to do it. That's one thing that we're different on. He believes in actually bringing up something that's going to end up costing the taxpayers. I want to save the taxpayers money. I want to make sure that we have a partnership that can be cost effective. Another thing we're different on. Right now, it's already the horse is already out of the barn when it comes down to the prison. I mean, the jail facility. We already know that there's spaces going to be rented out or leased. The thing for that, the reason I agree with go ahead and leasing out those spots, at least the taxpayers will get some of their money back. And you don't realize this, Terrace, but what it does, it keeps other places from sending their inmates to what they call them, those unknown, unregulated facilities. That means that you're talking about prison, that now you're actually sending them out to the civilian sector, which is definitely not a place you want to have your people go, which is not regulated by ACA.
Thank you, Ernest. That's our time. Thank you. But we are doing good on time, so we can do that third question that we provided earlier, and this will be starting with Ernest and Louie following up. So what do you feel is the greatest issue facing Bell County at this time, and what will you do to address it if elected? 2 minutes for you, Ernest.
Yes, ma'am. The greatest issue we're facing in Bell County is rapid growth. From 2010 to now, we've grown 31%, and we're continuing to grow. Looking forward to infrastructure and planning is one thing we need to do. Our roads, our emergency services, property tax structure are all under pressure. If elected, I will prioritize infrastructure first. Strategy, conduct a precinct level assessment, which hasn't been done, and aggressively pursue state and federal funding opportunities. I've did it in the past. We can do it now, and we can also cut the burden that our taxpayers are having in our district, and ensuring the spending decisions are tied to long-term sustainability. Growth can be an asset if it's managed responsibly. My commitment is to protect taxpayers while preparing Bell County for the next decade, not just the next election cycle. We have a future thing we can do. We know that the numbers are, because once we hit to the magic number, which is 500,000 people, the way we do everything in the county is going to have to change. And there's been no studies, no forward thinking about that. And those things are going to bite us if we do not become more progressive in thinking in the future about those changes. Thank you, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Ernest. So same question for Louie. What do you feel is the greatest issue facing Bell County at this time, and what will you do to address it if elected?
Well, this is something I agree on with Ernest is growth, managing the growth of the county. We're over 400,000 now. We're the 15th largest county in the state. There's 254 counties in Texas. We're the 15th largest. We think we're small. I think we're small every time I go somewhere, but we're the 15th largest. We have over 1,300 employees in Bell County, and transitioning from the rural mindset that Bell County has been under to now more urban mindset. We need to make data-driven decisions. There are no long-term studies in the county. The county has a history of trying to do stuff on the cheap. Whether it's employees, per capita, we have less employees than other counties with the same population. But we have to spend money. We have to invest in our future, and getting those studies done to make those data-driven decisions. And even if we do have those studies, we have to follow them. There's one right now. It's a SIM study, a sequential modeling intercept study to reform our criminal justice system here in the county, and I've pushed and pushed and pushed to try and get some of these through, and there's just no appetite for it. But that would help reduce our jail population as well. We want to reduce our jail population, not fill it up, because that's what's going to save us money.
Thank you both for answering those questions, and those were questions from the community. So we appreciate y'all answering those. And just a reminder, if you're not hearing the answers to your questions that either you submitted or something that's popped up in your head now, we do have a Google form that is contained within that document that you can submit your questions, and we will forward those along to candidates. So we will close out this portion with a 1-minute closing from each of our candidates, starting with Ernest. You got 1 minute here.
I would like to thank everybody for their time. I really do think that I just want to say thank you, and also let everyone know that you have a choice with this primary. You have a choice, and I'm just asking that you come out and vote. Go to ernestwilkerson.com if you want to reach and contact me. I'm definitely available. We've also picked up endorsements from the collective PAC. We also picked up some endorsements from the other PACs, Alpha PAC, and also the local real estate PAC for Fort Hood. And so I just want to let you know that we have our community support, we have our state support, and we're looking at getting things. We don't have anybody supporting us who support the trees, but we have other supporters, and we look forward to, and I look forward to representing not just one group. I'm representing everyone in Bell County. I look forward to just having your support, and hopefully I've earned your vote. And that's a serious thing. Thank you.
Thank you. So then moving on to Louie, got 1 minute for your closing statement.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you for everyone for participating, for listening, for your questions. I'm Bell County Commissioner Louie Minor. I'm asking for your support and your vote again. We've done a lot this last 4 years fighting together, and I'm asking for you to continue in that fight with me. We don't have to wonder what type of commissioner my opponent will be. All we have to do is look to see what type of CTC trustee he is now. Since being elected, he hasn't hosted one town hall, hasn't had one social media post about CTC, and has raised your taxes and has raised tuition. So that's what you can expect. I want to be engaged with my precinct. I have been engaged with my precinct. We will continue this fight together, moving Bell County forward in a progressive manner. And I look forward to seeing you at the polls February 17th through the 27th, and Election Day is on March 3rd.
All right. Thank you both for being here and sharing your perspectives, your platform. And again, if you guys have any questions in the audience, please reach out to their respective, well, actually fill out our form, because we want to also know what questions y'all are asking of those seeking to represent us. So that helps us in the future for some of our candidate recruitment efforts here at BCTDW. But also reach out to these candidates, learn more about them, do your own research. This precinct 4 on those maps that are provided in the document for this program. Shout out to Liz for her work on those. You will see what precinct 4 actually contains. So myself, I'm Bell County Commissioner Precinct 3. I'm over here on the eastern part of Bell County. So if you're like me, you wouldn't be able to vote for these individuals. So it is important for you to know what precinct you live in. Those maps make it easy. You can find that information online as well. But that's another step to being informed, is knowing who represents you currently and where on the map that is, so you can decide who's going to represent you in the future. I'm going to go ahead and unpin you two from our screen here. Remove pin. All right. And then I am going to bring up our next candidates for the last race of the evening, which is Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Place 2. We do have, goodness, I don't know why you're stuck up there, Louie. I'm trying to unpin you, and it's not. So I'm going to pin you again and unpin. Pin myself for a minute and see if that works. All right. So we do have three individuals running for that position. We have Nicola James. I'm going to go ahead and pin you up on the screen here. We also have Jessica Gonzalez. I'm going to pin you up as well. If y'all would please go ahead and start your video. And then we also have Dr. LaTasha Quarles. And I'm going to pin you up on the screen as well. So the same format as we have been this evening. I'll introduce a little bit about this position. We will open with 2-minute introductions. Then we'll move into our question portion of the forum, and then we will end with 1-minute closing statements. These are randomized orders, and I'll switch them up from section to section. We will start with the 2-minute introductions, starting with Nicola, heading on to Jessica, and then LaTasha. But before we get there, I want to share a little bit about this position for the educational piece. So the Justice of the Peace serves a 4-year term and presides over a justice court within their precinct. Justices of the peace handle misdemeanor criminal cases punishable by fine only, small claim civil cases, evictions, truancy matters, and they also conduct inquests and certain death investigations. They serve as an accessible local judicial authority for many community level legal matters. And I'm sure there are other things on there as well, but that's just an overview. So starting with the 2-minute introduction from Nicola James, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, and you will have 2 minutes. All right, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Judge Nicola James, and this is an honor, this is a pleasure to be here this evening. It is no coincidence that I am choosing to continue my service. Too often, our courts are seen as adversarial arenas. I am committed to reshaping the perception, promoting a judicial system rooted in respect, collaboration, and fairness. During my first term, we've made tangible strides in improving the functionality of the court. Like many institutions, we've had to adapt to changes in technology and demographics. In our court, we've created an atmosphere of friendliness, I would think, and compassion, especially in our approach to customer service. We do take the time to understand each and every client's, the litigant's situation, always mindful of those facing mental health challenges. And we've simplified our processes to better align with the needs of our community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nicola. And I did not do this in the past, and I did for Louie. Louie was I mentioned he was our incumbent commissioner. Nicola is the incumbent justice of the peace for this position. Moving on to our next candidate, Jessica Gonzalez, you'll have 2 minutes to give us your introduction, and I have asked you to unmute.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this event. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. My name is Jessica Gonzalez. I am the current City Council representative for City of Killeen, District 1. I have served happily 3 terms in this current position that I'm in. And I'm from Killeen originally, born and raised. My father was a Vietnam veteran, did 3 tours in Vietnam. My mother was a teacher here for Killeen ISD. This is truly the place that I live and call home, and I'm very proud of our town. At this time, there's an opportunity for me to continue my service. There's an opportunity that has presented itself for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 4, Place 2. And so I'm excited to be able to lend my skills that I've learned and the ability to build relationships and work within the community to help the people with clear and concise, fair and balanced justice in the People's Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to mute you and move on to Dr. Quarles. You will have 2 minutes to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Teresa. My name is Dr. LaTasha Carroway Quarles. I am originally from Mobile, Alabama. I am retired Army veteran. I've worked in the community as a guardian ad litem, a child advocate, a counselor, a teacher, and also a social worker, in which I have my doctorate degree in. I am excited to be in this race. Everything that I've worked towards achieving, I worked hard for. And with that, I am just excited to be here today. And thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and mute you, and we're going to move on to our question portion. The first one is, what is your top priority if elected? What barriers do you anticipate, and how will you overcome them? We're going to start with Jessica on this one. And that is, again, what is your top priority if elected? What barriers do you anticipate, and how will you overcome them?
Well, the top priority for sure is ensuring that we have clear and concise communication within our People's Court to make sure that the processes are in place that are efficient, that work well for our constituency, and that also work within the community that we serve and different departments that we serve. It's also important that we're working and having the best and highest use of technology. So my understanding is that there are some challenges there. And so figuring out how to better use technology and to leverage that for the court to make it more efficient for our constituents and efficient for the people that have to operate within it is probably going to be one of the challenges that I can expect to face, but that I'm willing to work across the aisle. And then, of course, taking best practices from other places to figure out how we can implement those and get it done.
Perfect. Thank you, Jessica. Next to answer this question will be Dr. Quarles. And the question again was, what is your top priority if elected? What barriers do you anticipate, and how will you overcome them?
One of my top priorities is to ensure that the law is fair and consistent while maintaining an efficient and respectful courtroom. And I believe that the court handles matters that directly affect daily life. So things such as landlords, small claims, misdemeanors. But beyond the legal rulings, I believe a JP must ensure proceedings are understandable to the public, manage the cases responsibly, and most importantly, uphold integrity of the judicial system. As my counterpart Jessica said about technology, I believe that is important because that is the new age. That is what's current. That is what is moving forward. So I think that would be a hard, it's hard, but it won't be not achievable. And I believe just enhancing digital accessibility will ensure that dockets and procedures are easy to find and to understand.
Thank you. Moving on to Nicola with the same question. What is your top priority if elected? What barriers do you anticipate, and how will you overcome them? 2 minutes.
Well, I will continue running on what I previously ran on, which was and is efficiency. And being that I have come from larger courts, they were slightly a little bit more advanced in that arena in reference to efficiency processes. I plan on to continue with bringing that along across the board for Bell County. Um, Visiting various courts, I have the understanding now that we do lack certain things within our county that could actually assist the community a little better. For example, when I was with Carpers Cove, the city of Carpers Cove, and COVID occurred, we did have to implement some sort of mechanism so that individuals could appear virtually or telephonically. And I did assist with that process to get it set up with our IT department. And that's something that I'm working with right now with our IT department as well. And the barrier behind that is to get everyone on board. I don't believe it's really a barrier. It's just great minds coming together and coming to a final resolve to help with this particular issue of efficiency. And to how to overcome this particular concern is working with our commissioners, one-on-one, working with our IT departments, because the commissioners, we need the funding, and the funding is necessary to move forward with this efficiency process. Our communication, our IT sources. So we need that communication with our commissioners in order to work together and release those funds to help us to move forward as a county and to be more efficient as we are thus far. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So moving on to our next question, and we will start with LaTasha on this one. What does fairness look like in a justice court? And how will you ensure that all parties, especially those without legal representation, are treated with respect and impartiality?
Well, that's easy. Fairness, just if you rule by the principle of treating everyone fairly and not just partially by skin color or things of that nature, or by some social economic gain, then you will be ruling, you will be acting in an ethical manner as well as a legal manner.
Thank you. So then it's going to be the same question for Jessica. What does fairness look like in a justice court, and how will you ensure that all parties, especially those without legal representation, are treated with respect and impartiality? Oh, I think I've asked you
Thank
to
you.
unmute.
Got it.
Okay, perfect.
Got it. Thank you. So it starts off with something that the principle that I think is very simple is clear and concise communication. It's very important that people understand that courts are scary. Some people are in there for various reasons. And so ensuring first off that there's clear and concise communication, that people have an understanding of the process, that they know what to expect, and you convey that to folks and help them understand this is what you can expect under the circumstance based on your situation. That usually takes down a level of anxiety that some people will tend to feel. The idea is that fairness is that they've been heard in court, that they've been heard and allowed to shape their case and to frame whatever is going on, but that regardless of the judgment, they don't feel judged, that they felt at least they were heard and they were treated fairly. And that's very important. And that really starts with communication.
Thank you, Jessica. So same question for Nicola. What does fairness look like in a justice court, and how will you ensure that all parties, especially those without legal representation, are treated with respect and impartiality?
Well, fairness is fair and impartial treatment. That's overall what fairness is in my perspective. And I believe I'm pretty fair within the judicial system, within the guidelines that we are afforded to based on what we do here on a regular basis. Sometimes it's hard to not tread the lines of wanting to be that person's friend, sister, cousin, or relative from the bench because of the pressing issues that you do experience, that you hear while you're engaging with individuals. But that fairness must be reciprocated on both sides. And I can't show favoritism or nepotism while I'm on the bench itself. So fairness is the quality of making judgment that are actually free from discrimination on whatever lines that might fall under for someone, not necessarily by color, by race, or anything of that nature. Just ensuring that the individual feels like they were heard during a particular proceeding. That's fairness to me. Thank you.
Thank you. So then we're doing good on time, so we can get to a third question. And this one we will start with Nicola, then move to LaTasha, then Jessica. On which specific policy issues do you think you differ from your opponents? Starting with LaTasha, Dr. Quarles.
I thought you said you were starting with Nicola.
Sorry. No, you are so right. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me honest. It's almost over. We're all right. Sorry about that, Nicola.
Maybe the question wasn't too clear that you
Yeah.
posed, which policy issue um,
Yeah.
that you're referencing.
Yeah, just anything from what y'all have observed, the platforms that each other are running on. How do y'all differ from each other? What sets you apart from the others here?
Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't have the time to follow anyone else and their particular platform, but it is exciting that they have decided to jump in and want to serve their community or continue to serve their community. So, in essence, I don't differ in that sense of wanting to serve. I think we're all here for a greater need, which is to serve our community and to improve the judiciary system in any aspect that they feel needs improvement. But as of right now, there aren't any policy differences that I can honestly say I don't agree with, but my experience, I do believe counts for something, um, being that I've been in the arena in different sectors for 20 plus years. And I think that is something that is significant, that is needed, that is useful, that is worthy of this particular position. Coming in as a novice in reference to the JP position itself, it does take some time, and I'm not saying it's not learnable, uh, but the experience that I have acquired and the experience that I've brought to this position, I believe has added value um, to the position itself. And
Thank
again,
you for
thank you,
sharing.
ladies. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
All right, now Dr. Quarles. So the question, these were from our some of our community members. On which specific policy issues do you think you differ from your opponents? You can go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
Um, that I don't know, but my judicial philosophy is grounded in applying the law as written and ensuring due process while treating every individual with dignity. A judge's duty is not to just legislate from the bench, but to interpret and apply the law impartially, um, apply the law consistently with integrity and respect for legal standards, are a fundamental must to maintain public confidence.
Thank you, Dr. Quarles. Closing out this question with Jessica.
Thank you again. Yes, ma'am. So from this particular seat, policy and legislation is not at the forefront. And so understanding that is extremely important. One of the things that I would say that not necessarily it differs, but is that understanding that all of the skill sets that I've acquired over the years, how they can then be utilized in this particular position to help maximize my efficiency in that role should the public decide to elect me for this position. Having experience for well over 25 years in property management has afforded me years of study in real estate with law of contracts, being in the courtroom on the opposite side, representing property owners when it comes to evictions, understanding that process as well, being an advocate in various forms, as whether it was with CASA or against for domestic violence and human trafficking. So having an understanding and being able to figure out how my skill sets can translate into this position are extremely important and will help me be also efficient in my learning as I move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. So that was all of the questions. So we'll move on to our closing statements from each of you. There will be a minute for those, and we will start with Dr. Quarles here.
Okay. So my commitment is to serve our community with integrity while focusing on reducing juvenile offenses through reformative, compassionate solutions that address the root causes of their challenges. And I believe together we can build a safer and stronger Bell County for all. Trust is earned through fairness, professionalism, and integrity. I am, you are, we are Bell County. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quarles. And then now the closing statement from Nicola, please. You have a minute here.
All right, together we can move forward from reaching out to problems in our court to preventing them in our community. In closing, I want to emphasize that justice is not just about rulings. I love what I do, everyone. I enjoy what I do. This is my passion. This is my career. This is what I love to do. There's no sugarcoating. I can't read a script to describe what I actually love doing, and this is from my heart. This is about fairness, compassion, and community well-being. I do look forward to working hand in hand with everyone to ensure our residents feel supported, safe, and are heard. Bell County, everyone on this call, no matter what, thank you all for your time. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this wonderful evening. Take care.
Thank you, Nicola. And moving on to our last candidate, Jessica, your closing statement, and you have a minute.
Yes, I just want to say thank you again for allowing us this platform and this opportunity to be here. This position, this opportunity to bring power to the people's court, to bring clear and concise fairness to our court, to be able to continue to serve my community in this capacity and continue to build bridges across our community are extremely important, and I would be extremely honored to have your support. I'm very thankful to be able to continue to serve in this capacity. This is, again, truly, as was said before, as a calling, is something that I feel that our community needs, that I can offer, and I'm happy to be of service and continued service to the community in which I live, love, and work, and my children play. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. these candidates, y'all took time out of your evening to share with your current or potential constituents and asking them to learn more about you and put their faith in you and hopefully give that vote. And conversations are important. If you all did not have your question answered and you're on this call or you're watching this later, please check out the form that we have posted a few times in our Facebook Live chat, as well as our chat here on Zoom. At this point in time, we are ahead of schedule. I gave us some cushion time. So if there is anybody here in our Zoom audience or even on Facebook Live that I did tell the candidates we weren't asking any on the fly questions, so I won't do that to them. But I will open us up, us being BCTDW, for any questions. If you have any questions about voting, if you have any questions about our next social, if you have any questions about anything, or you think you have something that others might benefit from learning, please just raise your hand in this Zoom platform and I'll give it an answer. Also, while you're thinking, if you have anything on your mind, I do want to say thank you to a few people. I want to say thank you to Abby, Liz, Robin, Amanda, and Solange specifically. They've helped make this candidate forum a possibility, and I know it wasn't without a hitch, but it went off pretty well for this organization's first one. And I also want to thank everybody who joined our strategic planning at the beginning of this year, because this is where this idea, we've had this idea, we wanted to bring the candidates to our community and provide you all a space and an opportunity to hear from them. However, it does take work, and we've been very clear about we want to do all the things that we can to inform and empower our community, and we also need people to step up and help do it. And so I really appreciate all of the members of BCTDW who've stepped up and who were at that strategic planning and helped us put in the work to make this happen. So I do see a couple of hands.
And then shout out to everybody who's watching on Facebook.
Oh yeah, and shout out to everyone on Facebook. I'm not seeing Facebook, so I'm not seeing everybody who's over there. Thank y'all for getting on, and we hope that you'll continue to follow and engage with our posts as we try to provide our community with accurate information to empower your vote and get you connected to fellow Blue Dots. So I'm going to start. I see Sandra raise her hand. I'm going to pin you on here, Sandra, and you should be unmuted.
I am. Thank you, Teresa, for putting this together. Just for the edification of those that are listening, could you inform them of where they could get a sample ballot so they can look at the candidates that are listed in their specific precincts and districts?
Yes, absolutely. Robin is working on getting that link in there for you guys.
So if you head to our election guide.
Yep.
All of that's in there.
Yes. So we do have, and you know what? We're going to do this really quick because I want y'all to know how important this is. I'm going to share this screen with you real quick, and hope I don't have anything, all my 9,000 tabs open, because I do typically have lots of tabs. And so we're going to go to our election drive.
Bit.ly.
Oh, here you go. Bit.ly. This is how easy it is.
/
BCTDW-election. BCTDW/election. All right. And so if you go here to our candidate guide, this is a Google document. If you have trouble viewing it, you can click a PDF version. We have these headers here that you can click down to whatever you want. In this instance, Sandra brought up sample ballots. So we're going to click sample ballots and jump down to that. So below, we list all the races for all of Bell County, but you can look up exactly what will be on your personal ballot. So you can look it up here. If you do know what precinct you're already registered in, you can click here and go directly to the Bell County election site, and you can pick. So I am in, it's a new district, I'm in 322 now. So you can go and click that and you will have, sorry, I'm going to move this out of the way so I can see. You will have a sample ballot that is tailored to where you live. This is the Democratic primary ballot. That is the primary I am voting in. And so we have all of those races as well as propositions that our state party is putting in front of the Democratic voters for this year. If you do not know what precinct you are in off the top of your head, one, if you just received your new election card in the mail, your voter card, excuse me, in the mail, that precinct is listed there. And if you do not know what precinct you're in, you can navigate to this tool here that Robin's linked to find out exactly where that is. Thanks so much. That was a great question. Sandra, that is important information. Let me move this out of the way and stop sharing my screen. And I know that Pam was raising her hand as well, so I will pin you to the screen and ask you to unmute. Add pin and ask you to unmute. Miss Pam Cleveland.
All right. Well, thank you, Teresa. And I just want to say, yes, awesome job. I think this was an excellent candidates forum. I was happy to be able to attend and get to hear what the candidates are bringing to the table. I just had a statement to just say to the candidates, I know we're not asking any questions, but if your position spans over more than one more than one city within the county, I just encourage you to please be inclusive. I can just speak for myself as a Temple resident that I feel like Temple is often forgotten about and that everything always seems to be focused on Killeen. And I know a lot of candidates live in Killeen, but I'm just saying, so if you're running for a position and it spans over multiple cities, I just encourage you to make sure that you get out to all the cities and that you make everyone feel included.
Thank you for bringing that up. And that is something that we've heard across the board. And so I think that's good for our candidates to hear. And that is also a reason, something that we take to heart here at BCTDW. I also live in Temple and have shared some of those feelings. And it's been important to us as an organization to provide opportunities for those interested in learning more about our group, as well as just Blue Dots in general, to have the opportunity to be seen and be in community. And so one of the things that we've started last year that has gone extremely well is our Blue Hour socials. Those take place every month. This month it's coming up on February 19th, and it'll be held in Belton at the Blackbird Books and Spirits. It'll be starting at 7, directly after the CEC meeting that is right down the street. So if you are interested in learning more about the Bell County Democratic Party, their meeting is being held that same day at the Bell County Courthouse. And then you can walk down and come to our social. And we do that again. We spread those socials out because it is important that people feel included and that they know that there are Blue Dots everywhere. And we're really not that alone. We're not Blue Islands. We just need to come together. And that is a great opportunity as well. If you are a candidate, come out and visit and see our members, and not just members, actually. These Blue Hour socials have been attended by upwards of 50 attendees from all over the county, members and non-members alike. So thank you for bringing that up, Pam, and I hope to see some of you all at our next Blue Hour social, and the link is in the chat as well. I did see another hand go up from Miss Sharon Rose, so I am going to pull you up, Sharon. Pin you here and ask you to unmute yourself. And then Robin, if you can be looking on Facebook, see if there's anything that we need to address from there so far. Hey, Sharon.
Hi. I just wanted to say, follow up with those candidates too that are working across the counties, and for all candidates, and even our BCTDW and the Bell County Democratic Party, that we are taking time to reach out to other people in our communities, our Asian communities, our Latin communities, our Muslim communities, that we don't just stay sort of insulated into what we know, and to reach out and meet other people where they're at, and hopefully we can expand our party and our organizations by reaching out to other cultures.
Love that. That's a great point. Thank you for joining us tonight, Sharon. Any other thoughts, questions this evening, everyone? Please check out all those links. We've worked hard to provide those. A lot of that from our communications secretary, Robin. Big shout out to her again for the ease of use navigating those things. I don't see anything else, so we will end our forum early. Thank you all so much for being here. Continue to stay involved in the know. We will continue to provide you all with information, up-to-date, accurate information. And this takes people. This is people-powered. BCTDW is also people-powered. We have some great people in leadership roles. And our members are great. And it also takes all of us doing the work. So if you're a member watching this and you're not involved in a committee, get involved in a committee. If you are somebody thinking about learning more about our organization, come to our next Blue Hour Social on the 19th. And we'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good evening.